Hey everyone, we're going to look at how we participate in state and local politics. So we know that in a democracy, public participation and popular participation is where it's at. We also understand that we vote, we're supposed to vote in order to have a say, in order to keep our government officials accountable for what they do, keep them in check. But there are other forms of participation as well that we must pay attention to. Voter turnout is really, really low at the local level, even though it's the most direct contact that we have with our government. The turnout is not necessarily extraordinarily high at the national level. But, when you talk about the local elections themselves, you might find turnout that's like less than 10%. And yet when you look at your property tax bill, you'll find that 2/3 of your property taxes go to schools, and you find out where your county is getting its money, or its village, or your town, or municipality, how much money they're collecting from you. And at the same time, we're not voting in those elections to keep those elected officials in check. There are many people who don't vote, and there are many reasons why we don't vote. And the list goes on and on. And when you take all of those into consideration, you realize that the people with a higher education, higher income are more likely to vote. They probably feel like they have most to gain, most to lose if they don't participate. Meanwhile, if you don't have a stake in your economic system, or you don't have a stake in the educational system, you probably don't see it necessary to participate. And of course, we have election controversies such as, how old you have to be to vote, but also whether or not you should have an ID when you vote. Should we allow internet registration? We see it now. Should we allow for people to apply for a ballot to vote from home without any cause? They just want to have one. There's no excuses involved. So there are a lot of issues that we have in terms of how do we reform the system to get more people to participate at the ballot box. We see that voter turnout has increased amongst minority and ethnic groups in the United States. We have also expanded the right to vote for decades, you could say for centuries. We do see an increase in women participating in our electoral system and getting elected into state legislative offices. Young voters might participate more at the national level, and seniors might vote particularly in droves when it comes to state and local elections because, well, after all, they're the ones paying the property taxes. You do find interest groups, which are organizations designed to influence policy making of course, at the national level, but also at the state level too. Those who work in interest groups are considered, or called, I should say, lobbyists. They have many functions and tactics. This is a big one in Illinois. The influence of interest groups is dependent upon how strong your political party is, or political parties are in your state. It also depends upon the economic diversity of your state as well, and how strong-minded or strong-willed your governor is in that state. And we also have to remember that protesting is a big form of political participation, especially in a country that allows for the freedom to assemble and the freedom to petition the government, which is also included, as we know, in our First Amendment.